Hi all, this is another little companion video to my really embarrassing Embarrassment of Riches tarot swap haul video where, in the course of a matter of a few weeks, I've acquired like gazillion new decks. I mean, they're new to me. They're from swaps mostly. And then some purchasing from folks on the Eclectic Forum. I'm just overwhelmed in a totally delicious, positive way, trying to integrate all these new babies into my collection. So one of the new babies is the Samhain version of the Deck of the Bastard. So this is from Elaine Wilkinson's. Her store is called Tarot by Seven. You can find her on Etsy or actually I think the if you can read it, www.tarotby7.com. She also has a website. And what she's done with all of her decks is to recycle and collage and massage older images from other tarot decks and kind of turn them into usable, readable, friendly new decks. So to create a kind of new vintage deck. So the Deck of the Bastard uses, for the pips, not for the quartz, but for the pips, it uses Rider-Waite imagery, Pamela Coleman Smith's imagery, and then kind of manipulates it so it has a more kind of antique feel. And then for the quartz and the majors, the Deck of the Bastard, and this is the Samhain version, the red deck version. The Deck of the Bastard uses sort of these soprafino, I think, sort of Italian 19th century images. So the whole thing has a kind of 19th century, very gently curlicued vintage feel to it. And then the Samhain version has this framing, which if you don't like frames, you will hate, but it gives the whole deck a kind of vintage and very special feel. And the frame has this sort of, I don't know where the frame is from, but it has the skulls and the curlicues. And as with the Deck of the Bastard, I believe that the Samhain edition came with an option to have keywords or not. So this one has keywords and titles. And you can see, so here's the Fool, and the titles are on the sides, and then beginnings, adventure, and then the reverse keywords, folly, reckless. So that could be really annoying. For me, I mean, obviously this was a swap, so I didn't select to have titles and keywords, but given the ornate framing of these cards, oh, look at that Empress. She's such a beauty. Given the ornate framing, it doesn't bother me, and I actually find it, I like that Hierophant, I actually find it rather charming. Here's a chariot that has no visible chariot, and unlike our normal sort of Marseille-oriented sense of the chariot as this weirdly immobile image, these horses are flying. Okay, I love this strength card. So the whole deck, you can see the back, it's called the red deck because it's got this very super saturated, very Samhain energy of red and rich and bloody and just full. These are big cards, so Kelly in Truth and Story always uses the Hidden Realm sort of Llewellyn standard size to give you a sense of the size of the deck. You can see, like, my hands are not super big, but this deck, I mean, it's a challenging size, but I love large decks, and I don't have a problem with shuffling them either overhand or sort of, side to side like that. Now, one of the reasons I think that the person who traded with me, look at the devil, he doesn't look very scary. I think one of the reasons the woman who traded with me was willing to trade was because she had started to edge the decks, and she wasn't really the deck and wasn't really pleased with her edging. Hey kids, I feel like I need to do a little extra video about the Samhain Tarot because the quality of the visuals on the other version I did, because of the way the light was, you just really couldn't get a good sense of this deck. And I've now just finished edging it, And I'm really starting to appreciate everything that Elaine Wilkinson does with her decks even more. And the imagery of the aces, the majors, and the courts, which are taken from a 19th century vintage deck, I just love it. I mean, going back to that High Priestess, this mirror and the snake, this Empress, the Emperor. So I wanted to upload a little bit more detailed of a video. Something that would really kind of, you know, show all of the care that she puts into this deck. My hands, okay, so that's a little bit the light, but actually that's also barn door red. I am the worst edger ever. I mean, it turns out okay on the deck. I think this looks really scrumptious, but I do a number on my hands. You know that wheel, so fortune is blind. I love that his hair refuses gravity, you know? And the dance macabre. Yeah, dance with death. I'm not sure what this iconography is, what she's holding in her right hand exactly. You gotta love this devil. The snake phallus. Tower. You know, the ways that she's kind of, Elaine Wilkinson's kind of corrupted the imagery, so it all looks worn, but individually it's not, I love this. I really love this moon. Each card has a slightly different patterning. With the distressed look. And then you've got the zodiac. And you really have a sense here of how the framing is an eye, right? These aces are really beautiful. And then, you know, when you get to the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, I mean, she's elongated things, she's added elements that aren't present. And of course, the coloring and the distressing that she does. You know, and the very meticulous way in which she's, you know, sort of photoshopped things so that they're slightly out of the frame. They're more interwoven, like the swords here. I really, you know, also the richness of the Samhain imagery, the coloring. I mean, the red, this sort of the post-harvest kind of that sense of real maturity. I love the water in that Six of Swords. But, you know, it is, I still, even though she's done an amazing job, it still is a little bit jarring to see these so familiar images. And some more than others, and then some, like this Ten of Swords, the familiarity of the image, and then the way it's really beautifully framed within that eye, that lozenge shape. And then we get into the courts, and the courts are all from that same sort of 19th century world. But, you know, see how she's like built-in blemishes here? Like that cracking. The kings are all standing, there's no sword. I love this Ace of Wands. And the kind of, what is going on with that hand, you know, grabbing it, looking sort of like the hand clawed its way out of the earth to grab hold of a living trunk of tree. Arrgh! And this two of Wands, he's holding the world in his hands. You know, like, what the heck? Then you've got this totally creepy, oh, sort of Halloween, ghosting. I don't even know what to say about those. Yeah, those little girls creep me out. Okay. And then here we are back again. You know, these little added touches. You've got, you know, the mask here, which unlike the weird, creepy little pumpkin head and paper bag girl, at least it feels like it's in the 19th century. But I guess, you know, Samhain deck, you're going to have some creepy elements. You've got your bats, the mask. So, yeah, some powerful stuff. Now, what I don't know, and I'm assuming that this is the same images that are used in the deck of the Bastard, but just kind of made sort of more Halloween, Samhain energy, more vampiric. I love this Ace of Cups. A chalice filled with blood. And the masks on the Two of Cups. So the witches' hats. Super clever. I accidentally stopped filming for a second there, so pardon that jump. Got the cemetery in the background and the coins substituted for the pentacles all throughout. You know, she does a really beautiful job with integrating the collage. I really like how this card turned out. There's something about the blood red background. And the, you know, the reshaping. I hadn't seen that pumpkin before. There you go. Trick or treat. There's something about the way she reshapes things to fit within the framing. It's quite pleasing. So someone was pointing out in the comments when I posted that earlier video on this deck, which I may take down now, I'm not sure, but they were commenting that this comes in a standard size, and what I have is the large format. So with many of her decks, Tarot by 7 gives different size options, and this is a really nice size. And as I say, the edging is really quite lovely. So there you go. Oops. There you go. Deck of the Bastard, the red deck, 3rd edition.